What do you want me to do for you? The blind man replied to him, Master, I want to see. Master, I want to see. My dear friends, today, like Bartimaeus, we come before the Lord with this prayer. Master, I want to see. Interestingly, every part of our liturgy points to this miracle in the Gospel of Mark. Every part of what we read. Beginning from the first reading to the response, to the second reading, to the Alleluia verse, all point to this particular miracle in the Gospel of Mark. In the first reading, Jeremiah the prophet prophesied that the Lord has delivered his people. Deliverance. In the responsorial psalm we sang, the Lord has done great things for us. We are filled with joy. And the second reading of today points to Jesus as the high priest in our midst and who works for our salvation. And the Alleluia verse tells us, our Savior Jesus Christ has destroyed death and brought life to light through the gospel. All pointing to this miracle that took place in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 46 to 52. This is one of the gospel stories I love because of the many lessons that we can draw from it. And the many lessons for years to come that people could draw from it. Look at the scenario, the background. It was not out of place then to see people lined up along the highways to receive attention or to ask for help. On that day, it was the turn of Bartimaeus to receive the attention of Jesus and to get help from Jesus himself. He heard that Jesus was passing. Of course, he could not see. He only heard the noise. And I'm sure people around him were saying Jesus was passing through. And he knew that that was his time to get something from Jesus. Jesus, son of David, have pity on me. Look at my condition. Have pity on me. The crowd rebuked him, telling him to keep quiet. Shut up. And what did he do? He called out louder, Son of David, have pity on me. This is my moment. This is a gracious moment for me. I need your attention. And of course, Jesus called him over, and then the story ended positively with him receiving his sight. I just want us to look at some highlights in this encounter, in this story of Bartimaeus. First was his persistence. He knew what he wanted. Even the crowd could not stop him. Son of David, have pity on me. And when they said, shut up, he shouted louder, because I know what I want. I know I'm doing the right thing. Have pity on me. And the next highlight in this story, if you look at that text closely, was the immediate response he gave to Jesus. Not just that he said to Jesus, have pity on me, but when Jesus invited him over, look at this. He did three things. He threw aside his cloak, 1, sprang up, 2, and then moved to Jesus. The immediate response of Bartimaeus to Jesus. He did not say to Jesus, I will come back tomorrow. I'll come back another time. He did not give excuses why he would not move to Jesus. He did not. He responded immediately to Jesus. And the next highlight in this story was the clear, unwavering faith of Bartimaeus. Son of David, I know you can do this. Do it for me. I believe in you. Do it for me. Have pity on me. What do you want? Master, I want to see. Because I know you have the power to make me see again. The unwavering faith of Bartimaeus. And the next highlight is what I call the spirit of gratitude. He was not just healed, he also showed gratitude to Jesus by following Jesus. Immediately he received his sight, he followed Jesus on his way. Just look through these highlights and see at what point the story of Bartimaeus will teach you something today. Look at all of them, all the stages of the development of this miracle. And that will lead me to the implications of this story in our lives today in 2024. What does this story say to you? And what does this story say to me? As usual, I'll keep it simple and straightforward. First, I want to identify the attitude of the crowd in the miracle story. Watch what the crowd did. First, they did not want Bartimaeus to speak. Shh, shut up. Don't speak. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you're doing. Keep quiet. Did he accept that? No. Naturally, because he was unable to see, the safest option would have been to keep quiet. But he did not. The crowd was not going to condition him in what to do. No. He knew what he wanted. He was convinced about it. And he was ready to go all out for what he was convinced about. And watch what the crowd did again. When they realized that they were not going to stop him, when Jesus said to him, come, watch what the crowd did. They turned around. Take courage. He's calling you. The same crowd that wanted him to keep quiet turned around to be the same crowd to encourage him to come to Jesus. And this is the number one point I want all of us to pay attention to in life. Sometimes the crowd would want you to shut up. Sometimes the crowd will want to suppress you, especially when you stand on the path of truth and righteousness. And sometimes we bow to pressure. And sometimes we bow to the crowd. If we are not convinced and firm the crowd will ever turn us up, down, front, back, anytime, any day. But if you are convinced of where you are headed, what you believe in, what your convictions are, do not allow the crowd to dictate for you what you must do. Crowd influence. Pay attention to it. Secondly, Bartimaeus in today's story acknowledged that he was blind. He did not pretend that he was blind. He accepted it. He knew he was blind. In our world of today, in 2024, unlike Bartimaeus, there are many of us who may be blind, but they are not aware. Sometimes our false beliefs, our false opinions, our false assumptions may turn around to become blinders for us in today's age and time. Our political convictions, our scientific convictions, our moral convictions, or even the societal convictions may turn around to make us become blind to objective reality and to objective truth, so to speak. Sometimes the things we believe in may become blinders for us. And sometimes we're not aware. The first and the most appropriate step to take will be to acknowledge that our opinion sometimes can become blinders for us, and then we learn to let our hearts and eyes be opened that we may begin to see realities in different ways. That's the first step. The second step will be to have the humility to know that it is possible to learn from someone else, or to have the humility to know that our old ways of doing and seeing things may be improved by new ways of doing and seeing things. I want to say that again. It is possible that we may have the humility to be open to accept the fact that new ways of doing things and seeing things may better help us to improve our old ways and new and ways of doing things previously. Think about that. And today, as we come before the Lord, this prayer of Bartimaeus should become our own prayer. Master, I want to see. Open my eyes to see what you want me to see. Open my heart to know and accept what you want me to know and accept. Remove every form of blindness from me. Intellectual blindness, spiritual blindness, or every form of blindness in my life. Help me to remove them, that I may see clearly and then respond to you like Bartimaeus did, by throwing away my old assumptions and opinions and false beliefs and springing up with new confidence and new insights and coming to you to experience the encounter that comes from you. That is our prayer in this Mass. Master, we want to see. And when we begin to see, we will now see the many blessings that God has given us as individuals, as families, and as a church community. And how wonderful it's going to be when we begin to see these realities in new light. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Master, we want to see.